Hinduism is a vast and complex religion which arose in the vast and complex country of India. It's been fascinating this week as I've been doing research on the web of swirling deeper and deeper into all the variations of Diwali that exist and all the different stories behind it and all the different prayers. But to avoid the wormhole I fell into last week when discussing Christian history, I have decided to start simply. Here is a summary from the National Geographic for Kids website. Diwali is India's biggest and most important holiday of the year. The festival gets its name from a row, a valley, of clay lamps, or Diwali, that Indians light outside their homes to symbolize the inner light that protects us from spiritual darkness. Diwali, celebrated in October or November each year, originated as a harvest festival that marked the last harvest of the year before winter. India was an agricultural society where people would seek the divine blessing of Lakshmi, the goddess of wealth and good fortune, as they closed their accounting books and prayed for success at the outset of the new financial year. Today, this practice extends to businesses all over the Indian subcontinent, which mark the day after Diwali as the first day of the new financial year. Indians celebrate with family gatherings, glittering clay lamps, festive fireworks, strings of electric lights, bonfires, flowers, the sharing of sweets, and worship to Lakshmi. Some believe that Lakshmi wanders the earth looking for homes where she will be welcomed. People open their doors and windows and light lamps to invite Lakshmi in. Over the century, Diwali has become a national festival that is enjoyed by most Indians, regardless of faith: Hindus, Jains, Buddhists, and Sikhs. Hindus interpret Diwali's story based on where they live. In North India, they celebrate the story of King Rama's return after he defeated Ravana by lighting rows of clay lamps, and that was the story that was shared during our time for all ages. South India celebrates it as the day that the Lord Krishna defeated the demon Narakasura. In Western India, the festival marks the day that Lord Vishnu, the preserver, sent the demon king Bali to the netherworld. But in all interpretations, one common theme rings true. The festival marks the victory of good over evil. Now, the triumph of good over evil is a theme common to many religions, and it's often celebrated in late autumn and early winter, with light triumphing over the darkness. The jack-o'-lantern of Samhain is lit to welcome good spirits and scare evil spirits. All Saints' Day is celebrated in Christianity, people lighting candles and praying to the remembered heroes of their faith. Bodhi Day celebrated Buddha's enlightenment and celebrates his overcoming darkness and illusion. The Hanukkah lights celebrate the Hebrews capturing the temple from the Greeks. Autumn ends and winter begins at solstice, where lights are lit to welcome the lengthening of days. Christmas follows soon after, with many celebrating the birth of Jesus, who is referred to as the light of the world. And the secular New Year's Day celebrates new beginnings with fireworks and a giant ball of light dropping into Times Square. The very word divine comes from the Sanskrit word diva, which means God, or literally the shining one. So this ancient celebration has entered the life of all humanity. And it is deep in our psyche, in our collective unconscious. There are three areas of concern I have for Diwali and the similar holidays celebrated at this time of year. The first is the equation of light with good and dark with evil. The second is violence as a metaphor for good triumphing over evil. And three, begging. I'll go through each one and explain a little bit more. The equation of light with good and dark with evil is a common human tendency. Light is hope, darkness is fear. Now this has racial consequences. In India, the higher castes tended to have lighter skin, the lower castes were darker. And this pattern was repeated in the West when those designated as white were given the right to enslave or kill or colonize darker people. I want to step back from these harmful metaphors and step into the simple dipa, or clay lamp. A lamp made from the darkness of earth, which carries the light. A lamp lit in the darkness, a symbol of hope. The darkness is needed to appreciate the shimmer of the light. A candle lit at noon has little glory. Fireworks in the daytime are less than spectacular, and all that you can see is the sun shining on the smoke. A light in the darkness is about awareness. It is about wholeness. The oppressive heat of noon and the cool peace of midnight are extremes on the spectrum of being. Shade in the summer and fire in the winter are blessings of wholeness, and it is always available to us if we make ourselves aware. The Taoist yin-yang sign carries this wholeness. Two figures, light and dark, curve into each other in a circle, and the light contains the darkness, and the darkness contains the light. Let us be whole, venerating both the light and the darkness. And the second thing that bothers me is the use of violence to bring victory to the good side. And this is not in any way set with particularly to India. In fact, it's one of India's greatest citizens, one of the world's greatest citizens, Gandhi, that opened my eyes to the horrors of violence. I do not like the glorification of violence and the giving credit to gods for victory, even in our ritualized violence of Saturday and Sunday football games. This giving the credit to the gods tempts people to be self-righteous as they perpetuate the atrocities of war. If we follow the example of war gods, we may never have peace. The fireworks are literally bombs bursting in the air. I get nervous whenever I hear someone say, God is on our side. I like to think of any notion of God or ultimate reality is able to bring peace and reconciliation. The third thing that concerns me is begging. also known as petitionary prayer. But there's just a general begging that goes around with all these late fall to early winter holidays. The Halloween kids beg for candy. All Saints' Day, you bring prayers to the patron saint of whatever you hope for. Everyone wants a New Year's kiss and Christmas. Don't get me started on Christmas and Santa Claus, especially before Thanksgiving, which in itself has become a greedy, gluttonous affair. Eat and drink as much as you can, then break down the doors of the stores and shop for more and more. Diwali also shares that begging quality. People invite the goddess of generosity in their homes, they light her pathway with light, and they pray for good fortune in the upcoming year. It seems that whatever the religion that humans have created, they also find a way to cheapen it while pretending to make it more glamorous and expensive. It's easiest to notice the loud and raucous celebrations of Diwali, but that day is actually the third day of the holiday, lifted out of context. Traditions vary around India, but the first 2 days are days of preparation, of families being together, decorating their home, making lamps, gathering in kitchens, cooking together, and making sweets. Lakshmi is both the name of the goddess and the word for generosity and good fortune. A translation in English could be, the goddess grace gives us grace, or the goddess joy gives us joy. Preparing for the Lakshmi Puja celebration is a way of preparing to receive the grace that is already there. We often live our lives ignoring all we've been given, and we should occasionally pause and count our blessings, and then we will be prepared to receive more. During Diwali, shopkeepers total up their books and start a new fiscal year, grateful for what they've received and hopeful for more. The third day, people parade in their best clothes and go to worship and do the prayers and asking for the blessing. It's a day of asking for good fortune, for grace, for joy. It is elaborate and ostentatious, and at night it gets louder with fireworks, music, and dancing. But on the morning of the fourth day, it quiets down. The fourth day is dedicated to husbands and wives sharing gifts of appreciation, remembering the wedding of Rama and Sita. And on the fifth day, the kindness between brothers and sisters is celebrated. The excess asking for good fortune on the third day is sanctified by the fourth and the fifth day, by the sharing of one's good fortune with others. All these various harvest festivals can be a way to celebrate our good fortune and the hope for continued good fortune. And they can avoid being begging holidays if we remember one thing. We ask for good fortune in order to share it with others. And this sermon, I'm going to end, as I end many of my sermons, with the words that can sound cliched because I say them so much. But it's the idea of giving and receiving blessings. Let us bless and be blessed.